Minor adjustments are dedicated to preventing and reducing crime. Our primary purpose is to teach men or women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary in their lives, which will allow them to obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle after incarceration and or rehabilitation. Our motto is anywhere but backwards. Everybody say anywhere but backwards. The words in that mission statement, it says to obtain, and the other one is maintain. Listen to me. To obtain means to come into the possession of something. Maintain means to keep it in existence. Listen. The reason why I say that, everybody say to obtain my sobriety is easy. Our challenge is to maintain it. Say to obtain our sobriety is easy. Our challenge is to maintain it.
Praise. Oh man. All right, everyone. Welcome everybody to the Minor Adjustment Virtual Group. This is going to be a nice time today. We're going to spend about 45 minutes or so. We're going to go over some things. I hope that y'all all are able to hear me. And if you would like to comment on this particular video, live comment, just text the word minor adjustments. The word minor adjustments to the number 77411. And then that'll give you the access to be able to comment while we're going through everything we're going to go through today. So if you have a phone and you're able to text minor adjustments to the number 77411, and you should get a link which will actually help you, be able to comment. Again, minor adjustments. My name is Michael Mickey Williams Jr., and minor adjustments is dedicated to preventing and reducing crime. Our primary purpose is to teach men or women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary in their lives, which will allow them to obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle after incarceration and or rehabilitation. Our motto is anywhere but backward. Anywhere but backwards. It's awesome because when you're thinking about making minor adjustments, what a lot of individuals don't understand, I teach it myself and I walk in it myself, is that we learn sometimes by what's called repetition. So sometimes we have to repeatedly go through different things or repeatedly go over different topics and learn them by repetition. I use the analogy of a kid who learned how to ride a bike. You and I also. So a kid who learned how to ride a bike, when the kid was trying to learn how to ride a bike, he takes the bike out, he gets on the bike, he tries to ride it, and he usually falls. Well, at least I know I did. So when I fell on this particular bike, I got back on the bike and I said, well, I'm going to try it again. So I got back on the bike and I started riding the bike again. And obviously I fell again. I got back on the bike and I started riding the bike again. And eventually my father or parent or uncle who was teaching me how to ride this bike, they let go of the seat and I rolled off into the sunset. And I love that analogy about how you learn how to ride a bike, and you can associate this with your recovery walk. Watch this. Once you learn how to ride the bike, nobody ever had to teach you how to ride it again. So once we learn how to ride this bike, right? How did we learn how to ride the bike? All of us who have learned how to ride a bike, right? Nobody didn't have to come to us at age 40 and 50 or 30 and 20 and teach us how to ride it again, right? But we learned it by repetition. We learned it by repetition. And that's why my wife and I, with minor adjustments, you constantly hear us saying anywhere but backward, anywhere but backward. it has to be something that becomes so repetitious that when you find yourself in different situations, it'll become automatic. Watch this, just how riding a bike has become automatic. Nobody needs to teach you that again. So minor adjustments want to teach individuals, and we want to teach individuals, and we want people to learn by repetition. Again, remember, if you want to comment and you're not able to do so where you are, if you have a cell phone, you can comment on there. All right. So remember, if you text minor adjustments, you'll get a link sent to you, and click that link, turn your phone volume down and click, and you can be able to share like that. That's everybody who's in a particular place where they can't get on a computer or something. All right. So let's see what we got here. So one of the things I want to go over, or if you don't have this book, prayerfully you have already got this book, and we went through some of that book. All right. However, there's another book that goes with the minor adjustment program. It's the Facilitator's Guide. And also in this particular book, you have a host of other things that we're going to go through week to week. I'm going to take parts of it, and we're going to discuss it. And eventually we'll probably get some books to you, whoever would like the book, and you'll be able to do this homework and things on your own. So remember, we're going to go through all of that. But right now, let's look at one part. All right, let's look at this right here. This is just the cover, Minor Adjustments Facilitator's Guide. Let me pull over, pause, and park right here for a moment. When we're teaching individuals about the minor adjustments program, our mindset is you one day facilitating the minor adjustments group. It can be where you are located, or a different location, or a different town, or anything. So that's why we created the Minor Adjustments Facilitators Guide, because other individuals have the heart, like yourselves, who will want to help other individuals. So when we created this guide, we created it with you in mind. You have so much more that you can offer the world because you made the minor adjustments, watch this, first in your life. Once you make the minor adjustments first in your life, now use the exact same thing that you have been through, and now let that become something that propels you into something else. It's not saying that you have to do this with us or do it forever. It's just that we focus on trying to help individuals move forward. All right. So let's see what else we got here. Let me make sure everybody's good. Okay. All right, let me make sure everybody's okay here. Now, let's go back to my book. We're going to move down. Again, this is a very important part. I can't skip it. It talks about right here, our primary purpose is to teach men or women how to pay attention. See, when I was teaching this a couple of last weekend, I had to pull over and pause and park, but I didn't. How teach men and women how to watch this. This is important. The minor adjustments that are necessary for their lives. This is important because there are only some things that you need to adjust in your life. When I'm talking about recovery or criminal lifestyle, everything that you have been learned all your life is not something that you need to get rid of. You just need to adjust all the things that are necessary. Can I give you a prime example? I'm born and raised in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and hanging out at night was nothing new to me. That's all we used to do was hang out, right? Hanging out was something that I need to make a minor adjustments. That was a necessary adjustments I had to make. So when I got to the place where I started walking in my recovery path, or the path that God preordained for my life, instead of hanging out, I went home early. That was an adjustment that was necessary for me. So when I say or read, when you read that our primary purpose is to teach men and women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary, watch this, for their lives. I'm not saying that each individual have to make the same adjustment that Michael made or that Lernell made. I'm saying that you know more about you than anybody outside God. But I'm saying that you have to figure out what minor adjustments they are necessary for me to make. You have to know what are some necessary adjustments that I have to make if I'm in the institution. What necessary adjustments do I have to make inside this institution? Or when I'm going home, what necessary adjustments do I have to make if I'm home? Right? So I'm talking to two different groups here. I'm talking to individuals who possibly are inside a particular place, and I'm talking to individuals who are not inside a particular place, but are still trying to make these minor adjustments. Remember, everything you learned in your life is not something that you need to get away from. You simply just need to adjust them. You need to adjust some things like that. All right. So let's move down. All right. Let's read this. This is another good point I want to point out. It says, it is better to give than receive. Each of you has received the gift. Leadership coach Dan Reeland observed, if communicators teach out of need, insecurity, or ego, or even responsibility, they're not giving. The needy person wants praise, something the audience must give. And the insecure person wants approval, acceptance, and something the audience must give. Similarly, the egotistic person wants to be lifted, to be superior, and just a little bit better than everyone else, something the audience must give. Even the person motivated by responsibility wants to be recognized as a faithful worker, to be seen as responsible, something the audience must give. Many communicators always teach in one of these modes and aren't even aware of it. Then there's the giver. This person teaches out of love, grace, gratitude, compassion, passion, and overflow. These are all giving modes. In each of these modes of the heart, the audience doesn't have to give anything, only receive. The teacher then becomes the gift. The reason why I love that particular story is because the teacher is the gift. I get more out of giving and pouring to other individuals' lives than I do receiving something from someone else. Yes, I receive from my mentors and spiritual advisors, my parents, my wife, and other individuals. However, it's more blessed to give than receive. The teacher has become the gift. And I love that quote by Mr. Dan Reeland, because he says the teacher is the gift to individuals. I said all that to say this. The God that I serve has made me a teacher. And the reason why he made me a teacher is because he wanted me to be a gift, watch this, to you. So everybody that he puts me in front of, every video that he allows me to make, he always remind me that I am the gift that he has sent to other individuals. So when you're thinking about the minor adjustments program and you're thinking about our motto, anywhere but backward, we're teaching that to individuals like yourselves because we know that it's a gift that God has given us, and the gift is supposed to go to you. And this is the most important part that I want you to understand. The reason why you should pay attention to it is because if God sends a gift to you, a teacher to teach you, that means God has you on his mind. He's thinking about you, and he wants you to realize that as long as you don't go backward, he'll send everything to you to help you on that path. I hope that somebody understands everything that I just said. Hallelujah. I hope you understand that. Let's move down some. We got good time here. Again, repetition. Learn by repetition. Let's move down. So now we're going to look at another part of this particular book. All right. This is another part of the book. Introduction of the program. We in one. Aim. What's our aim? Remember, I taught or I teach. You can look at the videos on our page. We gotta be aiming for something. Understanding the underlying purpose of the program. You have to be aiming for something. No matter, our aim talks about goal. We'll talk about that in the coming weeks. But are you aiming for anything? You have to understand the underlying purpose of the program. The purpose of the minor adjustment program, if everybody knows me for any amount of time, the purpose of the program is to teach you what we can teach you, get you to apply it to your life, and the purpose is to get you not to go backward. So that's the underlining purpose of this program, is to teach you some principles, if you will, some coping skills, some life skills, some rehabilitation skills. Teach you those things, but this is I gotta pull over, pause, and park right here for a moment. We teach you the skills. Watch this. You have to be aiming for something. If you're aiming for something, right? I heard a saying, I'm sorry, I can't give the person the credit. They said, shoot for the moon. If you miss the moon, at least you still be amongst the stars, but at least you aiming high. So if you're aiming for something, the aiming we're aiming for is to get you to understand the underlying purpose of the program. The underlying purpose of the minor adjustments program is to teach you principles, teach you some life skills, coping skills, relapse prevention skills, re-entry skills. But we're teaching you, remember, the teacher has become the gift to you. When we're teaching you this, it's very important that you apply them. The application part is your part. You can never come back to me. Well, I had a few people come back to me and say that the program ain't work. And I said, no, the program worked because I'm living the program. You ain't working the program. It said the program ain't work. I said, okay. Did you make some minor adjustments? Nah, I went back to the same neighborhood I used to hang out. All right. What else you did? I stopped smoking crack. I started doing heroin. Okay, well, why is you saying the program's not working? The program works if you apply the principles that you receive from the program. All right. All right. Let's see what we got here. One more. Let's go back to, are we aiming for anything? Remember, you should be aiming for something. You should be aiming for something. You have to have a goal. You have to have a goal, a purpose. There's no rush. Thank you. This is coming to me while I'm talking to you. Don't rush. It has been 15 years since I last touched a drug or committed a crime or did any alcohol of that, right? It's been 15 years, but I was aiming to do something with my life. I had an aim. I was shooting for it. I was understanding that I had to have an aim. So whatever your aim is, make sure you have a positive aim. Okay? Make sure you're aiming for something. And on the course and in the process, thank you, Lord, in the process of what you're aiming for. If you have children, you want to get that restored. If you had a relationship and you severed that relationship with an employer, a marriage, or whatever you're aiming for, right? Don't get discouraged if things don't pan out. Because a lot of times, I talk to some individuals, they say, I want my situation to come out just like yours. And I said, well, I can't promise you that you will get your marriage restored like mine got restored. I can't promise you that. But I can tell you that don't get discouraged in route of what you're aiming for or whatever you're aiming for, all right? Let's move. See, this is why this is good. So the first one is, the next part is, How do you realize that your purpose is greater than your struggle? So some of these lessons, I hope y'all got, if y'all don't have the book or you got the printouts, it's some of these things you're going to have to take back during the week before we come back next Thursday. And I need you to look at this. How do you realize that your purpose is greater than your struggle? I can help you right here easily, right? The fact that you made it this far. The fact that you are right now tuned in, listen to this video, or wherever you are, or watch it later. The fact that you made it this far is just letting you know that your purpose for being alive is greater for all the struggles that you had this far. If the struggles was greater than the purpose, the struggles would have took you out. But the struggles did not take you out because the purpose is greater than the struggles. I got my bracelet on right now, and I hope you got one. And it says, my purpose is greater than my struggles. I read it every day, repetition. Watch this. I read it every day. When I'm having a discouraging day, I read it. When things are going right, I read it. When things don't seem to be going how I thought they should, I read it. When I got a headache, I read it. When my teeth hurt, when my tooth are hurting, right? No matter what is going on, you learn by repetition. Remember riding the bicycle. When you learn how to ride a bike, you didn't learn how to ride a bike. As soon as you got on there, you rode off and everything, right? Let's talk about the bike again. Remember, I'm talking about an introduction here. Learning how to ride a bike. When we learn how to ride a bike, once we got on the bike, all of us, I don't know about you, but I know it was definitely everybody in my neighborhood in Atlantic City. When we learned how to ride a bike, we forgot one part to learn how to do. And if you could tell me right now, I would love it. But the part that we forgot to learn how to do was stopping. I was so focused on riding the bike that I ran straight into the wall. I remember my dad coming down there and get me, right? He said, man, why you ain't stop? I said, you never taught me how to stop. Listen to me. Watch how I learned. Watch how I applied this to our recovery walk. One of the things that we have to learn how to do with our substance that we used to do all the time is we have to learn how to stop. Oh, man. And it's not surprising that we don't know how to stop. It's because just like that bike, when we was learning by repetition, we forgot that we had to stop. And most of us crashed into a wall. And sure enough, that's how our life has been for a long time. But today we are not going to have to worry about that because now we know that we have to stop. Oh, man. This is awesome. Let's go. Let's see where we at. All right, hold on. Let me slide down some more. All right. We got some good stuff here. We got good time here. I'm not going to keep y'all long because I want to give y'all, as a teacher, I learned that attention span, as years went on, people don't have long attention span. So I try to give individuals some good meat where they can go back and meditate on it, read it over, write on it, get some different keys and stuff and apply it. The application part is the key. So let's look at another part here before we move on. It says, in life, we've all had our shares of trouble. Don't I know it? If asked by someone to give a testimony or just give someone advice based on your past or current life, you'll probably end up writing a series, of books. Watch this. If asked by someone to give a testimony or just give someone advice based on your past, listen to me. Did you know that you can give somebody advice based on your past? Your past situation is not something I want you to throw away. I just don't want your past situation to keep you from going forward. Your past situation can be used to give advice to other individuals. So yes, you've been through some stuff, and we all have been through some stuff. I mean, I've been through with crack and heroin for like 22 years. I've been in prison so many years, I lost track. But I now use my past to give people advice. Watch this. For those who know, I always tell people your failures have to become your mentors. When your failures become your mentors, you can always tell the person who learned from their mistakes. How, Michael? Because they won't repeat it. This is in every area. Finances. If you're dealing with finances and you keep spending money that you do not have, you keep borrowing money that you do not want to pay back, you keep doing all these things, right? When it becomes so stressful to you, right? You learn from your mistakes, and I'm talking about finances. And when you're in a relationship, if you get into a relationship with someone, you do something that mess up the relationship, either you do something or they did something. And when you go through those situations, when you get into other relationships, you don't normally make those mistakes. You might make them a few times, but eventually you learn from those mistakes. Those failures became your mentors. And now you can use that past life. Watch this and read it right here. It says you can just give someone advice based on your past or current life. So you can use your past life to give somebody advice. I know it was a terrible thing that you've been through, and I know you probably wish you never went through it. But there is a thing that I truly believe. Some of the things that we have went through in our lives that have been self-inflicted nonsense, what I call, has actually been something that we went through for somebody else that might not have made it or had the encouragement or the hope to make it as far as you did. But since you made it, since you made the minor adjustments, since you are now locked, focused, made sure, definitely convinced that you're not going back, those things that you have been through can now be something that you use as advice to help another man and another woman. Remember, I said it's more blessed to give than receive. And if you use your past lifestyle to give advice to other individuals, you are now a teacher. And the teacher is a gift to another man or woman around the world. It is the most beautiful thing in the world to hear another person tell you, thank you for helping me. It makes you want to go help somebody else. The reason why I'm talking like this is because you are just like me. Once you make these minor adjustments, once you lock in on I'm not going back, now you're going to focus on what we're going to go talk about again is purpose next week. So let's move here. All right. No, I got another section here. I get so excited about teaching about it. I hope that y'all everywhere you are that's tuned into this video, I hope that you're getting some encouraging words. I hope it's sinking in. I'm hoping that you'll take the handout that you possibly have. I'll put it in the comment section for those who's online on YouTube or wherever you might be logged on. I'll put it in the comment section so you can actually print it out later and so you can go over it. So I'll put it in there for everyone. All right. So let's see. Let's move down. Let's go to. All right. I'm gonna go to here. All right. What time? We good time here. Good time, Michael. When all is said and done, what will matter later and what determines who we are is how we react once we fall. This is what makes us different from each other. How we react once we fall. I heard, I want to quote him right. Please forgive me. I want to quote him right. Thank you, Lord. Les Brown. Les Brown is a motivational speaker, among other things, a mighty man of God. And he made this statement. I love it. He says, no matter if you fall or not, just make sure you fall on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. I love that. If you can look up, you can get up. And when we're thinking about what we just read, it says, What determines who we are is how we react once we fall. So when I tell individuals, I told somebody today, he had came to me and he said, man, I want to go to another program, Mr. Mike. I know you helped me get in the program multiple times. He got in there. We got on the phone. We did a screening, got him in the bed for tomorrow. And when he was walking out the bus, I looked at him and I shook his hand and I said, sir, I didn't ace the test when I took it. I just kept taking it. That means that no matter how many times I fell, how many times I got knocked down, I kept getting back up. And I'm letting you know that you have made the attempt to get back up on this day. But after this time, you won't ever have to worry about getting back up in regards to your recovery walk or your sobriety. You're going to fall into other things that you're going to have to get through. It might be employment. It might be financial. It might be old court cases that you have to take care of. It might be a host of things, child support. All those things are not worth you going back to what you came out of. So no matter what, remember what we just read. When all is said and done, when it's all said and done, what will matter later and what determines who we are is how we react once we fall. This is what makes us different from everybody else. I don't know if you know this or not, but you are a very unique, special group of individuals. It's what makes you different from everybody else, because there are a lot of individuals that go through a lot of things that's not as severe as what you've been through, what you and I have been through. But the way you respond about when you fall, when you fail, when you don't succeed, the way you're able to get yourself back up, that makes you different from everybody else. When everybody else think it's not possible, you think I can get back up. So I want you to understand that anywhere but backwards. Let's do a brief recap. So let's go back a little bit here. Remember, I learned by repetition. We started off, we talked about minor adjustments, the guide for facilitators. This is a book you need. It talks about it's better to give than receive. The teacher has become the gift. And then we talked about aiming, understanding the underlying purpose of the program. Do you have an aim? Are you aiming for anything? Are you aiming for anything? And then we talked about how do you realize your purpose is greater than your struggle? How do you realize your purpose is greater than your struggle? And then we talked about if you was asked but give advice, if asked by someone to give a testimony or just give someone advice based on your past, you'll probably end up writing a series of books. And then we talked about how you react once you fall. How you react once you fall. So now let's move to another section here. This is good. This is good stuff right here. We got another part. As human beings, you can't be lucky or unlucky during your whole lifetime. Life is balanced. Watch this. Now, this is some homework. This is something I need y'all to do when you get time, when you leave this particular lesson, when you're sitting back and you have idle time. Watch this. Write 2 things or events that you went through in your life that you will remember forever. Pay attention. At least one must be positive and one must be negative. So the homework for you is write 2 things down or 2 events down that you went through in your life that you will remember forever. One positive and one negative, because you need both. I got 2 different things that I have in mind, a positive or a negative. One was I have a few, but one that I will write in that particular spot I remember my daughter, my oldest daughter, was sick, and her mother gave me the money to go to the pharmacy to get the medication. And instead of me going to get the medication for my sick daughter, I used the medication to get heroin, and I never came back for 2 or 3 days. Yeah. Yeah, that's something I will always remember. I forgave myself because God has forgiven me, but I will remember it. Remember what it says. It says, write down 2 things or 2 events that you went through in your life that you will forever remember. I will remember that for the rest of my life. My positive event that I will write right there was going down to the Salvation Army in 2009 after sitting on that bench, going down there and never going back to using drugs after going down there and going away. It blows my mind how far God has taken me and used me to help other men and women. So that's a positive and a negative. So the homework assignment for you, one of them, is for you to write 2 events, 2 things or 2 events that you went through in your life that you will forever remember. At least one must be positive and one must be negative. Why one positive, Michael? Why one negative? Will your car start on the battery if it was all positive? No. As human beings, if you see it up top, you can't be lucky or unlucky during your whole lifetime. Life is a balance. And this is one of the coping skills, one of the life skills that I want individuals to understand. Life is about balancing. You can have negative events, but how do you deal with the negative events? One thing I had to do with that negative event that I mentioned, I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself because I was under the influence of the drugs. Because right now in my sound mind with no use of drugs for 15 years, if I was asked to go get medication for my sick daughter right now, would I go out and do something opposite of going to get the medication? No. So that made me forgive myself for the negative thing that I have did. Now, granted, I just used one because the exercise only asked for 2. I got a whole lot of them, but it only asked me for 2. A good one and a bad one. So I don't know how much sheets of paper y'all printed out, but it only asked for 2. All right, let's move on. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, let's move on. All right, we're doing good. Okay, next, another exercise for y'all to do. This is all stuff that, watch this, I'm giving it to you, but you got to do the work. List the items that encourage you to continue living in faith every morning when you wake up. Woo! If you're in a program or not in a program, list the items that encourage you to continue living in faith. What items encourage me to continue living in faith? I'm going to spin this chair around for a moment because I'm in my office. Look at this. Over here, I got my Bible. So that's my item, one item that encourages me to continue living in faith every morning when I wake up. Because this recovery walk, you have to find, that's one thing. Another one, let me give you another encouraging item that encourages me. My purpose is greater than my struggle. It's list items. What do you have? Do you have a devotional book? Do you got a picture? Do you have something that you look at on your phone? What kind of items do you have that encourages you? You need these encouragement because there are going to be days where you're going to have to encourage yourself. It's not going to be all roses and everything, a red carpet treatment. You're going to have days where you just don't feel, just because I'm a gift. God made me a gift or a teacher to help other individuals. I don't always feel encouraged. So I got to go to those items, or I got to go to those things that help encourage me to continue to live in faith every morning when I wake up. This is something that, remember, we talked about it earlier. We talked about it earlier, y'all. We learn by repetition. We learn by repetition. And the more you do it, the more it becomes repetitive. Thank you, Lord. The more you do it, the more it becomes repetitive. So when I come in here in the morning, I get up early in the morning, about 4:30, 5 o'clock, no later than 5:15. I'm up. I come in this office, I sit silently, I pray, I read something, I do things to encourage myself. I don't know what your particular strategy is. I do know you need to have something. Why is that important for you to find or list items that encourage you? Because when you take something away from somebody, remember, we are attempting to remove you from, watch this word, from your best friend. Alcohol and drugs was our best friend. So now we took our best friend from us. So now we got to find something that encourages us. And even if you want to admit it or not, when we had whatever we used to like to do in us, it was encouraging because we used to like to drink. We used to like to do drugs. So that encourages us. So listing items that encourages you is something that replaces positively, something that replaces the thing that you just got away from, which was your best friend. Oh man, I can't make it no sense. You have to list, look at the exercise here. Look at it. List the items that encourages you. List them. You need them to see what encourages me. This encourages me. You might have a picture of your daughter. You might have a picture of your wife. Does it encourages you? I don't care. Put the picture of my daughter, the picture of my wife. Do you have a high school diploma or degree or program? Okay, you can put that in there. You can have the minor adjustments graduation certificate. This encourages me. You might have the minor adjustments bracelet, anywhere but backward bracelet. It encourages me. That goes in there. Whatever encourages you. I don't know. I can't list everything. You might have a lot of things that encourages you, right? So I would need you to put those things in there, because I'm telling you this because 15 years of walking in this same thing, it has been days, multiple days, where I had to find deep. I had to dig deep and find something to encourage me to continue to walk and live in this particular path. I had to find it. You're going to have to dig deep, because I'm letting you know, I'm not telling you things that you won't experience. I'm trying to teach you principles, relapse prevention skills, coping skills, re-entry skills, everything that you might experience that I can think of at this particular time with the help of God. But I know for sure that you're going to need days where you need something to encourage you. I hope y'all understand that. Woo! We're looking good here. We're looking good. Well, let's see what we got here. It says, as we embark into this 8-week course, I did the 8-week course with everybody, but this is another part to add repetition. I got another whole course that we're going to go through week by week. We're going to go through certain sections in this particular book. As we embark into this 8-week course, here is a checklist that you should use to gauge yourself as the classes progress. Always come back to this lesson, watch this, to check your progress. Now, it's important. Always, that's why I want you to write things down. Because if you write things down, you're able to come back to them later and you can check your progress. If you was thinking one way, now you're thinking another way. If you was thinking this way, now you're thinking that way. So you can always be able to come back and check your progress, if you will. All right. So let's see. Let's go to all right, let's move. This is the checklist. All right. My purpose is greater than my struggle. I know y'all see that. All right. Let's look at this. First, we want to make sure this is another checklist. All right. Let me move this up. Let me see if I get all of it on here. Let me see. I might get all of it. Yeah. I can get all of it. All right. Oh, yeah, I can get that. I think y'all, hopefully y'all can see this. If not, y'all should have the paper, or I'll put the link in there for you to download it or whatever on your phone. You can get it right to your phone. All right. First, this is the checklist. You put your name up there. Now, watch this. I woke up with a willing mind today. This is important, y'all. I woke up with a willing mind today. That means that I have put in my mind that I'm willing to go anywhere but backward. I woke up with a willing mind. I'm willing to. You're going to have, I'm talking about needing encouragement. Checklist. I woke up with a willing mind today. You go here, watch this. If you woke up and you didn't have a willing mind that today, don't check it. Then you can gauge yourself. This is not a test you're going to fail or pass. This is to find out where you are. If you woke up and you like, man, I'm really not feeling this stuff about, right? You got to gauge yourself. You got to find out, because then you go back to the things that encourages you, and you realize, okay, man, I had a willing mind not to go back yesterday. So let me go to my list of things that I put on that paper that encourages me. And when you read those things that encourages you, hopefully it'll get you to put you back in a mindset or having a willing mind not to go backward. I hope y'all understand that. It's very important that you wake up. When you wake up, check your mindset. Remember, we talked about, what are you aiming for? Are you aiming to be successful? I tell people all the time, only connect with me if you want to make it. If you want to really succeed, connect with me. If you want to just be on the fence halfway, don't you might as well don't even get in the car with me. I'm headed. I got an aim. I'm focusing on being everything that I could possibly be. So if you don't have the willing mind to do everything you need to do to make it to the level that I know that you can go to, then I think you just got to do a research on yourself. You got to make some minor adjustments. Okay, then let's look at the next check box. We good here. I have been able to stop. Name your addiction. So right here, I would check, I have been able to stop alcohol and drugs. I have been able to stop alcohol and drugs, right? And then notice the extra lines right there, because I didn't actually stop smoking cigarettes and everything at the same time. All of it came like process. So once you put right here, I have been able to stop, name, you would probably did, if it was alcohol or drugs, you put alcohol or drugs right there. And then you probably want to go after quitting smoking cigarettes. You might, I don't know about you. I know that was my aim. I was aiming at, like, man, if I'm going to do it, I'm going for it all. So that might not be your aim at this time. But if you put right here, excuse me, I have been able to stop such and such, at what, name your addiction. It could be pornography, it could be gambling, it could be whatever, right? You put it right there, and then you go after other things that you would like to stop on the process of this recovery walk. Remember, we talk about minor adjustments. It's not just the substance. The substance is one thing, but there's a host of other things because of our behavior and our lifestyle that we have made, watch this word, normal. To everybody else, it looks nasty. It looks like they don't want to do this. How can you possibly do that? To us, it's like it's normal. It came with the territory. Why everybody not doing? So you got to understand, when you look at this list, you look here and it says, I have been able to stop, bam, this thing. But the lines, or those dotted lines, you can put something on there that you're aiming to stop. Okay? So I want you to understand that. Next one, let's go. We got two more here. I am working on my faith on a daily basis. I am working on my faith on a daily. That means that you are trying to grow from faith to faith. You're trying to work on it. You're not there. You can't believe that it's possible for you to never, watch this. This was one of the hardest things for me to convince myself, is that I could never do anything again. Meaning alcohol, drugs, marijuana, popping pills. It was the hardest area for me to convince myself that I couldn't do none of those things. So you got to understand, I had to work on my faith each time. When the more I thought about it, I said, man, I don't know if I can actually live my life and not do any of those things. And that's a faith challenge. That's a tough task. Don't act like you think you got it, because I am working on my faith on a daily basis. You got to work on that. Remember, I don't know, this thing keep popping up. Repetition. It takes repetition. You know, you got to work on it. Remember, For 22 years, I was doing what I used to do. I've only been doing how I'm living now for 15 years. So I'm not even at the 22 years that I used to do. So you got to understand, you got to constantly work your faith on a daily basis. Like, yo, I got to get my 22 back. I got to get my 22 back. I mean, I want it all, but I definitely want my 22 years that I gave to that back. And I don't know about you, but I'm going anywhere but backwards. But I'm going to conquer some of the areas that I want to conquer. All right, let's look at it. We got one more here, I think. I have been able to forgive myself and accept myself. You see that? I didn't even know that. I didn't remember that that box was there. But you remember when I talked about how I took the money for my daughter and used it for drugs? And I said, after the fact, I had to forgive myself when I started my recovery process. I don't know if you realize this or not, but some of you have been holding on to things that you probably did that was negative. But you have to be able to forgive yourself and to accept yourself in spite of what you probably have done. You have to be able to forgive yourself and accept yourself who you are. Nobody can tell you how you should feel about a thing. Nobody can try to hold you down because you did something. You have to be able to forgive yourself, and you have to be able to accept yourself how you are. The person you are is sufficient enough in God's eyes. And that's the only person that I aim to please. My name's Michael Mickey Williams Jr. I aim to please him, and that's it. However, you must be able to forgive yourself. I don't know how many times you might have to say you forgive yourself, or how quietly you have to do it, or you have to do it publicly. You have to forgive yourself. It is very depressing when you think about all the things. I'm telling you right now, God has blessed me with the gift of memorized Bible verses. The reason why I started memorizing Bible verses is because all I can think about when I was clean was all the things that I did wrong to people. It would be in the forefront of my mind. I did this to this person. I did this to this family member. It would be in my head when I slept, when I was just thinking about it. It would terrorize me. But I had to be able to forgive myself. So I don't know if you're watching this video now and you need to forgive yourself, or you watch it later. You still need to forgive yourself, and not only forgive yourself, but you must also accept yourself. What you did is not who you are. Those are the things that you did when you was under the influence of alcohol and drugs, but that is not who you are. All right, I think that brought us in. That brought us in. Again, we went over the minor adjustments, the secondary book. Again, all of these lessons that you have, if you have the first book and you got the printouts from these lessons we went over today, all of them are going, it's going to be repetition. We're going to talk about the introduction, the purpose, the surrender, the visualize, endurance, minor adjustments, humility, living victorious. We're going to go over it and over it and over it and over it. We're going to come back and go over it again. If you have the books or you have the paper, write on those, and that way you'll be able to go back to it later and you can see your progress. The minor adjustments program is there to give you the instruments or the tools that's necessary for you. And after you use those tools, apply those tools, and then you'll be in a better situation. Again, if you you would like to leave comments on this particular video, all you got to do is text minor adjustments to the number 77411, and you'll be able to leave comments on that particular video. Anything that pertains to you, anything that helped you, and it will be a blessing to us as well to hear that we were able to assist you in any way. Again, this is the minor adjustments virtual group. We will be here next Thursday at 7 p.m. and we will move into another part of that particular secondary workbook. I hope you got something out of it. And again, my name is Michael Mickey Williams Jr. And our motto is anywhere but backwards. To God be the glory. Y'all have a good evening.